Yeah, very good. Yes. Karen.
I was just wondering, what happens to the societies where, like, in restrictive laws, you find that not only in the family, but the whole community has to play a role in it too. Like, for instance, when maybe a wife has made a mistake, but then the husband punishes him, but also the society punishes her.
Right. Well, I think that you're probably thinking of small-scale societies, small-scale African societies, where, in fact, societies which are largely bound by a less developed division of labor, but more by mechanical solidarity. So, in fact, what happens in the family is actually publicly visible, and it's everybody's responsibility. Everybody partakes in the regulation of kinship networks and kinship relations. That is a society based on mechanical solidarity, where there is, in fact, very little restrictive law. Okay? So, yes, so in that society, everything is visible to everybody. So if there is some adultery is committed, then it is everybody's business, as we know in small-scale societies. Yes. Good. Now, what gets from this? So now we can figure out what is the form of punishment. What is the form that punishment must take in order for it to repair the collective consciousness? What is the form that punishment must take in order for it to repair the collective consciousness? Yes, Neil?
This is the loss of one of the elements of the collective consciousness that we hold the most dear, which is freedom. And so it seems like that's the goal, is to remove freedom from the person who violates.
Yes, to remove freedom, but that's, is that what, I don't know if that, can you give me a page number? Sonny. Shame. What do you mean by shame? Very good. What do you mean by shame?
Page 47.
Ah, very good. 47. Very good.
Okay, on page 47, in the middle of the page?
Yep.
There's above all one form of punishment when this passionate character is more apparent than elsewhere. It is shame that doubles most punishments and that increases with them.
Shame that, no, well, let me just read that again. It says, it is shame that doubles most punishments and that increases with them. What is shame? What is shame? When I shame Matthew, what am I doing? What do I do when I shame him? Embarrass him. But to embarrass him, he must be embarrassed in a broader, in public. Very good, Christy, very good. Yes, punish.
You're not embarrassed if you're the only one that knows.
That's right. Well, sometimes you are. Sometimes you are. But the idea is that punishment should be public. There's no point in punishing people in private. Right, Felipe? Why? What's the problem? If I punish you in private, there's nobody held accountable. Nobody's going to see it. No, the collective consciousness is not going to be repaired. You're just going to be punished, and perhaps your individual consciousness will be slightly reshaped. But the collective consciousness, what we all share, will not be affected. So punishment has got to be public. It's got to be visible to all. There's no point in punishing people in private under a society of mechanical solidarity. So as you say, Karen, it is actually the punishment of the adulterer or adulteress is public. Everybody knows. So punishment is public. What else do we know about punishment? Not only is it going to be public, but it also has to be, if there's a sacred part of the collective consciousness is offended, then it has to be... Yeah, but you haven't read. And you're not in the class. You're violating the collective consciousness, Nathan. You're an interloper. You're a deviant. You don't belong here. We are identifying ourselves against an external person, an enemy. That is how we build our collective consciousness. Get it? Good. Right. And I did that how? I did that passionately. I punished Nathan passionately because I want to insist to all of you that we have a shared identity of 101B. And he's an outsider, an enemy, an infiltrator, terrorist. Passionate. That is the point. Passionate. Punishment has to be passionate. It shouldn't arouse humour. Passionate. So Durkheim says if there is a sacred part of the collective consciousness is violated, then the punishment has to be public and passionate. And he says all this, well, I'll give you the page numbers. Passionate is page 55 to 56. Public is page 57. And then he also says that it has to be organized. Now, what he says is that the collective consciousness is not a hodgepodge of sentiments and values, but it's an sort of integrated system. It's a moral system. And therefore, the punishment of its violation has to be something that is organized. So you have tribunals and executions. And particular modes of actual punishment, particular ways, organization is also important. And he says that on page 58 and 59. 58 and 59. Very interesting now. So this is punishment to repair collective consciousness. Punishment associated with repressive law. You understand the logic here? But the funny thing is, in this society, how do we punish people who violate the collective consciousness? Thus. Put them in prison. Put them in private. How do we execute them? Privately. Well, organizedly, but privately. Yeah. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? I do punish you publicly here in this room, but broadly in society. It happens in private. Now, in this society, in a small-scale society based on pure mechanical solidarity without a division of labor, it will be public, the punishment. But in our society, it's privatized. That's very interesting. What on earth can that mean? Sienna?
Well, maybe once it feels private, but I feel like before and after.
What? Continue. Tell me. What's public?
The Michael Jackson trials, like the OG trials, those were circuses, and it was broadcast on every channel 24/7.
Yeah. So.
And they executed that guy, Tony Williams, having like turn on TV. It shows like shadow of the ideas.
Yeah, so I mean, if you do it too often, if you do it every day, then probably wouldn't have the same effect. But some of these dramatic cases, and sometimes it's not even the execution, it is the trial, as you say, the OJ trial, it becomes the focus of public attention. Yes, very good. You don't know who you are, though. Courtney, very good. I do know who you are. Okay.
Also, when there's legislation that tries to get passed around prisons and shorting sentences, rehabilitation, people are adamantly against this type of thing and are more for people staying in prison.
Yes, that is okay, but there's still, one could argue that it is not the trial, but the legislative moment that draws attention to our collective consciousness and the importance of punishment. Yes, that's another way around this question. Yes, Juliana.
I work part-time for a lawyer, and all the trials are actually public. You can go in as a public person and sit down and watch what's going on. What's interesting to me is there's never anyone in there, and so I had this in mind when I was reading Durkheim, because he's talking about like an offense to the collective consciousness, and the punishment is cast in and around it, but except for high-profile cases.
Right, so okay, that's precisely the point I'm trying to make, that many acts of punishment are actually not public, and they're not made public. Sometimes they are, some dramatic cases, but that's an interesting situation. It's something about a society with an advanced division of labor, where there is a lot of restitutive law, organic solidarity, mechanical solidarity exists, but it takes on a different form, a more privatized form. But in small-scale societies, there you will find punishment actually public and passionate and organized. So we have to be careful to recognize, not to take the ideas of mechanical solidarity and automatically, mechanically implant them into society of our own, which is characterized by division of labor. But there are moments, as Sienna says, there are moments in which punishment or trials around crimes do become incredibly public and incredibly passionate. And the O.J. Simpson was attract everybody's attention. And so one is reminded or not. In fact, that's a moment of the one could argue that the O.J. Simpson trial was a moment of the change in perhaps the collective consciousness, a shifting collective consciousness. Lilia.
Well, wasn't there also a big shift with religion when they got the laws of priests?
That's right. Then, of course, that's another thing that became very public, the molestation by priests of children, child abuse. Now, before you leave, Celia, sit down. Work. What? This is what you do for work. Tell me, how does the state come into all this? Mechanical solidarity and the state.
I'm not sure. We're still talking about a society where mechanical solidarity is.
Yes. Mechanical solidarity. The state becomes an expression of mechanical solidarity. An expression of it. And any offense against the state becomes an offense against mechanical solidarity. It's still got a minute to go. You see what I'm trying to point out to everybody? There is a time to leave and a time not to leave. I'm not worried about Celia. I'm worried about all of you, reminding you all of your collective consciousness. Okay. All right. We will think about mechanical solidarity and the state, and then organic solidarity. You are liberated. Oh well, such is life.